I think we're live.
Good morning. Wait, take two. Good morning.
What's up, everybody? Prof Sales here.
Oh, Kaaren. I'm just Kaaren.
You're just Kaaren?
Yeah, you can ask me anything. That was a line last night. Hi from Austin, Texas, and good morning. Happy Sunday, everybody.
Yeah, so we are coming to you live from the lobby of our hotel in Austin, Texas, where it's hot.
And don't you love this romantic filter that's going on over here on my side? We're not quite sure what's going on with that.
Something's wrong with our camera, so it's giving Kaaren that soft look.
That glow.
That soap opera look almost. But so we're in a big, huge lobby here in this hotel, and it may be loud, and you may hear music and people talking, and we apologize for that. But we just wanted to jump on for a little bit. We have a flight that's going to be leaving here in a few hours, but we just want to jump on and talk to you guys about the weekend and what we've been up to the last few days and so on.
Just for a hot minute, right? But it took us like an hour to prepare for however long or whatever this minute is going to look like.
Yeah, like figuring out the lighting, then all of a sudden our camera's acting up weird. It's just been a weird setup. And the Wi-Fi is kind of janky. I hope you guys can see and hear us okay. Let us know if you can in the chat. That would be great. We are watching the chat.
And we can say good morning to folks, right? Because I see Tanya right there first.
Yeah, I guess Tanya's still here in town.
Tanya lives here.
Well, I didn't know. I mean, I knew, but I kind of didn't know. I don't know where everybody lives. Like, I'm a live tracker.
Well, and Michelle is here. And hi, Adam. Did you see the selfie that we took just for you? There were two of them. Tanya likes to play with the Snapchat filters. So we're like kitties, and then we're like normal, smiley, happy people. So, oh, hey, Joe. And whose name is that?
Find it, flip it.
Craig, find it, flip it.
Adam's here, like you said.
Oh, yay, Adam. So we did this.
Take two.
So we went to this green room thing, right? It was my first time.
She lives in Houston. I told you.
Well, she lives close enough. Anyway, she's here. We had lunch. It was awesome.
Oh.
What?
Yes. So some of you guys know we're members of the Green Room, which is a reseller and entrepreneurial group. I guess you would call it a reseller group, but there's also other types of entrepreneurs in there. People do merch, private label, things like that. So it's not just reselling per se. But every year they have an annual meetup. So it's been here in Austin the last 4 years, maybe. And Kaaren got to come with me this time. And so we flew into town on Wednesday. Today's Sunday, so we'll be leaving today. And we've had a great time, like really networking and connecting to other people that we hadn't met before. Some have watched us on this channel, which is really cool to think about. These people in other parts of the world, like all of a sudden know you. It's like, man, it's so weird when someone recognizes you and you're like, ah. But
we have friends all over the place, don't we?
I know, we don't even know, people you've never even met. It's just
hey, Deb, hey, Deb, hey, Deb.
But it was great, guys, because we came here and we spoke at a seminar there was a bunch of seminars we had on Thursday. Kaaren and I both spoke. We did a presentation along with, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 other speakers, as well as there were some panels on eBay and Amazon that we could ask people questions and so on, which was really cool.
I didn't faint or throw up, which is always a bonus.
Yeah, and we didn't, we didn't really do a lot of like thrifting and so on. We did go in one bookstore with another Green Room guy and Rex, and he was sourcing books, and like all of a sudden, like about 6 people started sourcing books for him at the same time. So it was pretty funny.
It was very cool. We filled up the cart for Rex.
Yeah, he sourced like 30 books in like 15 minutes probably. It was crazy, but that was fun. But you definitely can resource. You definitely can source on these trips, but I look at them they're more about making connections to other people, learning about different businesses, learning, a different skill set. And this particular group, I've been a member of now for almost 3 years, and it's got just a good blend of people in different avenues, which I really enjoy. So we really got a lot out of it. I learned a ton from Brandon. He's probably not watching right now because he's probably on a flight, but
or sleeping.
Yeah, but Brandon was telling me all about, how to print my labels better and how to navigate like shipping things to Amazon that, I was having some challenges with books. So it's like you meet people in these events and you don't really know what you're going to get out of it. But sometimes you just got to put yourself out there and see what happens.
Well, and you always have faith that you will get something out of it, no matter what, whether it's a friend that lives in your same city or it's an idea or a different mousetrap or a better or just different way that you're already doing something. Like, that's what amazes me about this group in particular. And we talked so much this weekend about the diversity. One of the things I liked most about this event was the diversity. And it can be a little overwhelming. And what I mean by the diverse crowd is that you had people that were Amazon sellers, eBay sellers, help me out, merch. And then within all of those drop shippers, that was oh God, Paul, I love Paul. But that was a whole other entity in and of itself, right? But everybody within each of those groups does it their own way. And what was amazing to me is how often we would be sitting talking about, how we do this or why we do that. And someone would chime in and say, well, have you tried this?
Right.
Or, well, I never thought of it that way. And there were so many moments just like that. And the fact that there were so many different kinds of people, so many different perspectives, and there were so many things that made us different. But then what caught my attention were all of the things that made us the same, right?
Right.
You had that entrepreneurial spirit. You had that. I think what touched me the most is that just about every person that I talked to wanted to help other people. Like, a lot of them had teaching backgrounds, but then a lot of them were teachers at heart, and I don't even think they knew it. Like, everybody that came to these, and it was the formal stuff, right, the conference, but then it was also these informal get-togethers, like at dinner afterward, or the socials afterward, or the thriftings afterward, Like,
yeah.
That's one of the biggies for me. Like, I can't encourage you guys enough to get out there and meet your people. Seek out your tribe. Look for those people that are doing what you're doing and get re-energized by them, get motivated by them. That was the coolest thing for me.
Yeah, totally agree. I mean, there was definitely a wide range of people here. And I just felt like there was, last year it was new to me, so I didn't really know what to expect. And I came here and probably spent more time thrifting and sourcing. But this year I really spent more time talking to people who were in different models. We spent time talking with Paul, who is a drop shipping guru on eBay and does massive volume, which, by the way, he's agreed to come on our channel and do an interview and talk about what he's learned. Super awesome guy, super knowledgeable.
I would have taken him home with me if I could have. Like, he was so delightful.
Yeah.
Like, he was so cool, like such a breath of fresh air. I really liked talking to Paul.
Yeah, he was great. And then we had the Poshmark couple there.
Jason and Kaaren.
Kaaren.
It was a theme.
Which was very confusing when the four of us were all together, who was talking to who.
I think we took a selfie.
Yeah,
Maybe.
we did. And so that was cool hearing about Poshmark, because honestly, I don't really know much about it. And they gave a great presentation about how to sell on the platform, how to get started, and what sort of success they've had.
Right. Oh, and then Jonathan. I mean, I know we tease him so much, but who kicked us off, and how well did he kick us off? The very first speaker, right?
Right.
Jonathan got up there and talked about, partnerships and digging deep and working hard and employees. And I mean, what does he not know about, right? Like, he could get up
you're
there.
gonna give him such a big head now if he cares about this.
Oh, he'll never see this.
He'll never see this. Nothing to see here. But I mean, there were so many great presentations and so much knowledge in the room. And it's great to ask people questions on Facebook and send them messages. I mean, that's part of it too. But wow, when you can sit there and have a 5 or 10 minute conversation with somebody about whatever subject you want, I mean, that's so powerful. And just to kind of see them animated and talking about it, and be able to pick their brain, and they can do the same for you. So, I mean, always, I think one of the things I've tried to do here, I like speaking at these events because I feel like I'm bringing some value to people, because I'm probably going to ask them for things. They can bring value to me. So it's a symbiotic relationship. You can't just be a taker either. So anything you can give to other people and let them know, you should. even if you think they already know it. They might not. You'd be surprised when people, who was it, Steve last night was telling me about something, a tool to help people connect to you when you deliver a product to them. And I had heard of it before, but I hadn't heard like his take on it. So it was interesting. Like we both had a slightly different interpretation of it, and now we both walked away understanding it even better, I think. So it's just all sorts of moments like that.
Well, and we met. I'm here to tell you, like each and every one of them, I still have the biggest crush on Eric, but each and every one of them, the fellas, right? Steve, Chris, Eric, and I could name all of them, but everyone that you in particular seen on social media, right? Every single one of them was exactly how I thought they would be in person, and even better. We got to meet Deb, we got to meet Tanya, we got to meet Margaret, we got to meet all the people, right? All the thingies got talked about, and there were so many hugs and so much love. And I'm here to tell you, people, they are real. They are the real deal. And if I come up to you and hug you and you don't want to hug me, then that's a sure sign, right? But I got, like, my hug meter is overflowing after this trip. Like, it is so cool. I'm like, and we're coming off, like this morning, we both woke up and we make jokes a lot about how a round peg, square hole, different pages, but the universe came together and we, no joke, woke up and we're talking about the same exact things. Like he would say like, oh, I want to, take a look at this and let's do a show on that. Or what if we, looked at it this way? And every single thing that we bounced off of each other this morning was this, like it was uncanny how same page we are. And I would like to attribute it to the fact that you, and I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit, were forced to take a break. You were forced to slow down and re-energize. And I'm going to call you out a little bit because part of our presentation was the stuck stops here, right? And it was about digging deep, getting stuck, but more importantly, moving on, right? And not staying in that sense of undoneness or undoness, for lack of better, right? And one of the things that my section was on was just don't burn out. Like, just don't do it. And the very first call to action was what? What was the word? I'm asking you. It's not a rhetorical question.
What word?
In evade burnout, what was the very first word I said?
To re-energize.
To re-energize. And I kept saying that word to him all weekend, and it's so important. And are you feeling good?
Oh, for sure. Definitely better. Definitely have it's interesting. It's like your perspective. I mean, you can be tired, you can feel like your body has energy, but man, sometimes your mind just needs to relax and be able to step back for a moment, take the 30,000 foot view of your life as well as your business. And I think that's important. And we forget to do that. We get so caught up in just doing. We forget why we're doing any of it and what it really means. And should we even be doing it? So that was definitely good for me to kind of get a little bit of a recharge, a re-energize, as you said, and just, be able to move forward.
Because you can't take, like, one of the things we ask is, why do you do what you do? And we really challenge people. Like, it's not, don't ever answer, like, if you ever say to either one of us that you do it for the money, yeah, we're going to call you out on that, because the money is a result.
Right.
And if you're doing it for other people, it's noble, that's grand, it's awesome. But you have to take care of you, because if there's no you left, if your tank is empty, there's no way you're going to be effective helping other people. And so I'm very proud of you. Like he didn't source other than for Rex and the books, and he was starting to get the shakes.
I know, it's like all these books at the beginning.
Yeah, that probably won't happen in Vegas, but so he's like, I gotta work up it. But you did, and it's important. And I'm not going to say I told you so. I told you so.
I was like, you're so going to tell me. I told you so.
Oh, I see what you did there. I told you so. You were going to tell me. You told me so.
I knew it. Ten of Hearts says, reselling community is my tribe. That's a great way to look at it.
Yep, there's a shirt in that.
I think there's a lot of people out there that think like you do, act like you do, have similar challenges to you, similar successes, but you have to get out there and meet them, whether it's through the green room or any other group. I think that's important. I think if you're not doing that, you're missing out. And even if you're introverted and shy and you don't want to, maybe put yourself out there, it doesn't matter. Like, you can go out there and be somewhat a fly on the wall, but if you engage, you're going to get even more out of it. So I would encourage you guys to do that, whatever group you want to join or community that you can find positivity and encouragement. That's important. It can't just be a moan and whine fest. So definitely find one that that'll help you recharge.
Yep, it's important. Like there's so much strength, support, and comfort in community. And every time we go to an event like this, that's reinforced. Like if you're doing it right now without community, I challenge you that you're not doing it.
Right. Because
we have gained so much. And it's vast. It's not even connections or ideas, but it's the camaraderie. It's all the thingies. Oh, and Mr. Thingy's in my bag, or I would bring him out. Like Mr. Thingy took selfies with a whole bunch of people.
Mr. Thingy needs a travel sticker, I think.
And I will give the Amazonians credit, who perhaps did not know about the thingy or how the puppet came to be. But most of them, Dan in particular, were very gracious, taking selfies with the hand puppet. So.
Yeah, so I'd be curious to hear from you guys, like either here in the chat now or even in the comments later after this video post. What do you do to sort of recharge or re-energize, to get your mind wrapped around, what you really want to do? Steve and I were talking to another green room member last night, and I'm not going to say who it is just in case he doesn't want people to know, although I don't think he would mind. But Steve and I were talking to another green room member last night who had all these things he wants to be different about himself physically, financially, mentally. And, Steve asked him, what do you expect? What will I see different when you walk in here next year? And so the guy had to start thinking about it. Like he started having to sort of putting accountability on it. Like, well, I'm going to lose this much weight. I'm going to improve this part of my business by doing this. Like he started coming up, and I'm sure he'll go away from that. And Steve and I talked about, I don't know how we got on the subject. We talked about the iceberg. You didn't hear this story.
No, that's why when you did the iceberg thing, I didn't get it. So yeah, tell some story.
Yeah, so a lot of people sail around in a ship called their life. In other words, we'll say the ship's name in this case is the Titanic. And they're sailing around the Titanic. And there's these icebergs that are floating around. They never even see. They keep hitting and water keeps leaking into the ship, threatening to sink them. And a lot of people just are oblivious to it because they're just in that mode. They just want I just got to keep going. I got to keep going. And there is power in that. But if you're going in the wrong direction, that's the wrong approach. And Steve and I kind of came up with this, I don't know it's sort of symbiotic, but just this idea that, well, in this other guy's case, at least he has seen the iceberg. He knows it's out there. He knows it's a threat to him. He knows that he needs to pivot. He needs to turn, and he needs to move away from it and head somewhere different. So if you're plowing ahead straight towards an iceberg, whatever your iceberg is, maybe it's health, maybe it's your finances, maybe your business is stuck, maybe you're in a relationship that's not going well, maybe it's your relationship with your kids. I mean, it could be lots of things, your job, whatever. The first step is acknowledging there is an iceberg in your path, or that you're going to hit it, or you already have hit it. So acknowledge that. Like that's a good step. Like that's the start of it, and only then can you start to turn towards something else. So make sure you acknowledge the iceberg.
Like I feel like you should just drop a mic at that point. And I'm sorry, I didn't mean to but look who's Victoria's here, and we told her that we would say hey from Oklahoma.
Oh, there she is.
How cool is that? So everyone in the chat, say hi to Victoria, a brand new friend that we got to meet here. There's a beautiful picture of her I think Steve took it, but it's a gorgeous picture. I saw the bats, everybody. Oh my gosh, we went to the bridge. Thanks. Who drove us to the bats? Sue drove us to the bats.
Sue drove us, yeah.
Oh, Sue drove. Where did Sue not drive us, right?
Sue was like her own personal Uber, which
we
very
love
thankful
her.
for.
And then some. So we went to the Congress Bridge, and I got to see the bats, and it was amazing. And it's kind of geeky, I know, unless you like guano and bats and stuff. It's kind of, I don't know if you can fathom it, but they were just whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. They flew out. And yeah, so highlight of my trip for sure.
I'm sorry, I'm still watching. There's people right here in front of the hotel, and they've locked their keys in their car, and it's been ever since this show's been on and then some. And
no, it's been an hour. It's been at least an hour.
Yeah, they can't get the door open, and it's really.
And we can't decide if there's something alive inside the car. I don't think it's a human, but they're really like flexed.
I know, right? They're just like, what the heck? I got a locksmith there and everything. So yeah, guys. So make sure you're figuring out, what are those icebergs in your path? What are those obstacles? And then and once you identify them, you can move away from them. We were talking to another reseller at lunch yesterday. I think it was yesterday. And she mentioned she was really struggling to photograph and list things. And I said, well, why are you doing that? She's like, well, certain things I really like photographing and listing, but other things I don't. And I said, well, how many of those other things do you have that you don't like photographing and listing? And she said, I don't know, maybe 150, 200 of them. It was quite a few. And I said, are you going to list them? And she said, no. I said, so get rid of them. They are an anchor that are preventing you from turning away from the iceberg that she's heading towards. And she looked at me she couldn't believe I said that. And she's like, well, what do you mean get rid of them? Like, either sell them in bulk to another reseller, or worst case, donate them. I said, but at this point, cut your losses. They're a reminder of what you perceive to be a failure, and just move on from them. Like, you will feel so much better once you did. You'll be like, oh, that is gone. I don't have to worry about that anymore, And I think, if you start thinking about your business that way, or anything going on in your life, you got to remove the obstacles that are holding you back. And we're big believers in that. And we try to practice it best we can. And we struggle with it just like you guys. You asked me a great question the other day.
Which question I asked you a lot of questions.
But the one we were upstairs and you asked me, why are you, what?
Yeah. What's your why? Like,
but before that.
Oh, the biggie one. So yeah. About the bills.
Yeah.
Oh, so I think a game changer for us, for Jason in particular, was I said, why are you doing this? Like, are you just doing this to pay bills at the end of the day? Is that what you're striving for here? And it was almost like I punched you in the nose. And I didn't do it on purpose. But it was, it was an honest, open moment. And you didn't answer me necessarily right away. You got kind of quiet.
I had to think about it.
And then the next day you were like, you know what? You're right. And we gotta look at things differently.
Well, it's so funny because a big part of our presentation was on figuring out your why, your purpose for doing all this. And, my why started out, I don't want to work for someone else because that does not make me happy. Well, I've achieved that. And I realized at some point I went away from that why because that no longer became the driving purpose. And it became, well, now I just need to do it to make things work, to pay bills, to make the finances work. And I realized that's a terrible why. And so, you asking that question forced me to think about it that way. So what I did is I said, I thought about it for a while. And I thought, you know what? The new why is I want to build a business that allows us to have the freedom to do the things we really want to do. And I know that sounds kind of pie in the sky, and of course there's a lot of details to that, but you start with that and you think, all right, it sort of plays in with what we've been talking about. If we want to build a business, for instance, that allows us the freedom to do the things we want to do, that means we can't be tied down to it. It can't be so super time intensive or so space intensive that it requires us to stay in one place and focus so much on it that we can't have the freedom to do the other things we want to do. So that's part of it fits right in with the strategy of pivoting away from, say, like pre-owned clothing on eBay, for instance.
Well, and you got the first words out of your mouth the next morning, you woke up, and I kid you not, and I don't mean to embarrass you for this, but he sat up in bed and he said, like, the very first words out of his mouth were, I want to build something that provides us freedom. Like, I want to make something, and then it morphed from there. Right. So if you don't have a personal mission statement right now, make one. Put it up on your wall, commit to it, because what you're doing is you're committing to yourself. Right. And what may surprise some of you is that, and it's what is really, really sticking with me, what may be hard for you to understand, comprehend, is that whatever insecurities you're feeling, whatever failures are weighing heavy on you, whatever unknowns are out there for you, we share them. Steve, Chris, Eric share them.
Right.
Like, just because some people seem to be in a different place, a better place, and we'll remind you, don't play that comparison game. It's not about that. But even those people that are at the top of their game,
right,
they still wake up sometimes unsure.
They have doubts.
They still wake up, and maybe that idea that they had yesterday wasn't the best one, or the decision that they made to buy those thousand Skylanders. I got inside jokes now, was not the best one, right? But it strikes me that we are all that way. And so many people come to us and they're like, well, you know, I can't pull the trigger on that, or I can't do that, or it's not going to work. Just try, just do it, right? That's one of the things we talked about. We're like, whatever it is, you know, because so many people prepare, study, and then that's as far as you get. You're never going to go forward. You're never going to grow. You're never going to prosper if you don't pull the trigger. Right. And even if you fail, it's not a failure. Like, you are not a failure. You have to just do. And I'm telling you, and I can't until you experience the community and put yourself out there and experience and embrace other people, we're all the same. Like, we are really all in the same boat. Sure. You know, some of us might have bigger paddles, or, you know, we have a arm wings, water wings or something, whatever. But we are really, like, everybody shares the same insecurities, the same doubts, the same what ifs. The difference is in those that will pull the trigger and allow themselves to do. And then you're either going to succeed or you're not, but in every case, you're learning and growing along the way. And that was amazing. Like, that had so much impact for me. Like, every person that I talked to, whether they were brand new, or even if it was, you know, Steve, or whether it was you, or whether it was somebody else, we're all the same. And we try so hard to make ourselves appear different or feel different, but we're not. Like, we're all the same. And I think once we embrace that, and now I'm going to get off on some just love topic here, but I'm coming away from this with the answer is to help other people. The answer is to, you know, don't be a bully. The answer is to give so much, and you will get so much in return.
It comes back. That's well said. Yeah, we forget that part. We think we just need to get everything from people. And when you give things to other people, they give back. You know, I mean, it's just sort of natural for most people to do that. And, you know, that's important to do. And meetups and groups and so on like that, those are great opportunities to do that. So
let's take some questions, shall we?
Yeah, we got a few more minutes, then we're gonna have to get a car and
go to the airport.
Glenn Hustler Hacks. He was not here this year. He was here last year, but he was not here this year.
Joe was here though, and Joe and Margaret did a merch thing at the Whole Foods, and it was funny because the joke, Adam, for me was, Joe, you had me at Whole Foods. All you had to do was say you were going to Whole Foods. But it was cool because we got to go. There were all these little outside other events. And well, gosh, if there weren't those, we would never have met. We would never have met up with Tanya and Deb, right?
Right. That's exactly right. So, and again, that goes back to what we're saying. There's just such a wide variety of people in different niches and areas. So, if you wanted to learn something different, you could. It wasn't all eBay or all Amazon or all one particular thing. Go ahead.
Oh, so didn't you find though? And who was I? I think I was talking to Eric about it last night because he put me on the spot and asked me, you know. I'm a noob. I am an interloper to the green room. And this was my first experience with everyone. And he said, well, what did you like the most? And I'm like, no pressure there. But I said to him, it was the diversity. And it was remarkable to me that even in processes, right? Like, you would have someone that's a huge Amazon seller, right? Talking to a brand new Poshmark seller, right? And in that exchange, what was remarkable to me is that there was still an exchange. There was still learning. Like, some method or manner that this person uses, this person could apply to their own business. For sure. And that's uncanny to me. Like, where else are you going to get that? I mean, I don't know. It was just, that was the best part for me. The diversity here, and just in some ways, it can be overwhelming. And I don't think you could get all of these people in one room and go conference after like seminar after seminar after seminar, because it just wouldn't appeal to everyone in the same way, right? But the fact that we had all these opportunities socially, and most of those were social, but it always came back. And we were joking last night about talking business. Gilbert and I were joking about that, but it all, in roundabout, unpressured ways, would come back to business. And I'm telling you, there was always something to learn like that. And I was like kind of I don't know, I was kind of goofy about it because I would have these moments, like visceral moments, where I would just sit there and I was like, oh my gosh, magic just happened here. Like, do you two realize that you just solved the world's problem? You know, like that kind of goofy stuff, but it was cool.
For sure. Sure. So yeah, and we definitely had a great time here. As we said earlier, I mean, you definitely should reach out to and join groups and make it to meetups, even if it's just people getting together. And there's nothing wrong with the thrifting parts and so on, but just the networking parts, that's where you're going to learn stuff. Really. Like, you're going to learn about mindset. You're going to learn about why people do the things they do instead of just what they do. What they do is great, but you can't always replicate that if you don't know the why behind it, because it won't make sense for you. Somebody just said I look bored. I don't look bored. I'm just very tired. I woke up at 5 a.m.
Yeah.
It's just like I've already been up for like 6 hours.
It's about a 1 hour delay, like a 1 hour time change for us, but it's
yeah. And I think I went to sleep at 12, so I'm kind of running about 5 hours of sleep, which is not enough.
It's almost like when you come to something like this, it's almost like you're on a Mardi Gras schedule, like 24/7.
Yeah, there's so much going on, and people are doing this and doing that. There's the official events, which you can go to or not, and then there's all the unofficial things that happen as well.
All the unofficial things, right? So we're going to have to, and it's funny because I was going to say, we're going to have to spend the next month resting up and preparing for Vegas, but we're actually going to hit the ground running. Like, as soon as we get back, we're going to be like nonstop busy, right? And we'll do our best. You're probably going to see us awkwardly enough like this on the road and live and in weird places. But we've got some big things that are coming up that are going to.
Yeah, and sorry for the camera shot. Something is wrong with the camera in our Mac, and we just noticed it this morning, and it was really too late to do anything about it.
I think it's just very pretty. It's like very like, it's one of those filters, right?
Yeah, it's like, no, you're not seeing blurry vision. It's the camera.
I could go like this. How's that?
How's that? 2/3 of the shot. There you go. All right, guys. Well, listen, we better get out of here. It's 10:55.
Oh, is it? Oh my gosh, we got to get to the airport.
That's true. Or we'll miss a plane, and then we'll have to thrift our way all the way back to Charlotte.
Wouldn't that be fun? But yeah,
come back with like 1,000 books. Be like, yes.
So yeah, so you'll see more of us this week, and we'll keep you in on our big long journey. I mean, we're on the cusp of some pretty big, amazing things right now. Right. Including we're going to go to Asheville, right? We pretty much got a sober commitment from Jennifer and Gilbert to help with the Nashville.
Yeah, more details on that as we work that out.
As we get closer. So let's just say, everybody, have a wonderful Sunday. We're so glad we could start our day with you and share this just epiphany of epiphanies that we've had. This serendipitous experience, indeed. So, yeah. As always, this is Kaaren from Just Ask Kaaren.
And PROF Sales.
Saying good sales to you.